Committee members have had a chance to review. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Under old business, item number 1 is authorization to award bid for construction of the Western Riverwalk project to John Plott Company. Total is $8,795,737.45. We had a discussion and presentation by the mayor and staff last week about the proposed Western Riverwalk, and I will open the floor for any more questions, comments, discussions from committee members and other council members. If there are issues that have not been addressed, please bring them up now.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to say I've had the opportunity to speak with Jason Walker concerning my concerns, and we're ready to move forward.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. Any?
I have no other
Councilman
questions. Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 1 is approved. Item number 2 is approval of change order number 1 to the construction contract with GFC Dominion Joint Venture for McWright's Ferry Road Project. Deductive total of $102,280.50. Josh, welcome. We always love deductive totals.
Absolutely. Good afternoon. Yes, this is recommending approval of the request of change order number 1 for the McWright Ferry Road project to GFC Construction and Dominion Construction Joint Venture, the removal of ductile iron, gravity sewer pay items, in addition for the addition of PVC gravity sewer pay items.
Can you give a little update of kind of where we are on the project right now as of today?
Yeah, absolutely. We had our notice received was February 27th. Contractors moved in, mobilized in, and are proceeding with the clearing and grubbing operations at this time.
Good. It sounds, we're making progress, which is good. Questions from committee members?
So moved.
If none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is approved. Thank you, Josh. Item number 3 is approval to enter into minor public works contract with Straight Line Fence to update fencing in City Hall basement parking garage. Total is $6,790. Welcome. It's not summer.
It's not summer, it's Chris.
Hey,
This is
Welcome,
an
Chris.
upgrade, thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is an upgrade to the fencing that's currently in place. This will be a windscreen, a security barrier. We have identified the parking garage entrance as one of our safe places for our employees. This windscreen will keep any kind of glass or debris of coming through the chain link. It's real similar to what you see at a baseball field on a fence around a baseball field. It's a black screening of a tight woven mesh. So that's what it is.
Question?
It is funded through our facility renewal fund.
So you're in budget?
Yes.
That's always good.
Yes, sir.
Questions, Chris?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is a review of the proposed Snow Hinton Road with the University of Alabama, and Tim Leopard, I know, is here in summer. Welcome, Tim.
All right, so you guys requested that we sit down and meet with UA once again to talk through the project, and we just wanted to come up here and show you kind of a presentation that the university has given to us to kind of go over with you guys. So, I'll let you kind of talk through the project.
So as part of the old Fire College redevelopment, we have leased that to Chick-fil-A. And so the university, in partnership with Chick-fil-A, will be improving the red section, section 1. So in consultation with the city, we think that there will be some economy of scale and efficiency if the city were to consider advancing the yellow section. You would save mobilization, extra design fees, things such as that. And going ahead and executing that concurrently with our Chick-fil-A redevelopment project. In talking with the city staff, they asked that we look at adding, burying the utilities underground, so there's some overhead power lines in the area, and upgrading the lighting. I believe Draper, correct me, the lighting was about $300,000, and that is included as a separate line.
They have, you have handouts that were
Yeah,
given out.
in
It
your
looked,
budget
it was
there.
kind of small on the
Yeah,
screen.
this
so
thing
we
right
did
here.
handouts.
They laid it on the desk. Kip, you said?
And we are very close to being ready to bid and could roll this scope in to our project. And, you know, as you're aware, we've done several joint funding agreements together. The university typically would advance the work, and then you would reimburse us once the work is complete. So we were talking about our standard funding agreement essentially.
Road, we plan on incorporating that section of the road in our April 18th budget recommendation to you. It'd be a partnership. We would source it from the Snow Hen Park improvements, which has a phase one. It actually, the timing couldn't be any better, and it certainly fits with the lighting and security aspect that we want to see in the Snow Hen Park area to enhance and improve it.
Walt, would that just include section one, section two, correct?
Yes, sir, what's highlighted in the yellow.
What's the green?
Yeah.
Future
The green
development.
is future, that until we understand what we're going to do with the Northington school site, we're not prepared to do anything there right now. We're evaluating several potential uses that could include rerouting that around the site in a different way. So we would,
Totally
Propose.
changing what you're doing. You don't
Yeah.
wanna.
and this has been reviewed by the master plan consultant for Snow Hinton Bars, and it coordinates with that Snow Hinton master plan.
It would also coordinate with when we start construction on the park project. That's gonna be, you know, a multi-million-dollar upgrade. So we would make sure those are coordinated together.
Remind me, when's that supposed to start?
June, we would bid around May and come back,
And how long the project is that?
1 year,
So the timing's probably good for all of us.
yes.
Questions from committee members or council?
Tim, what's the advantage to y'all of having, so, y'all own what?
We own.
All of it?
No, sir.
Here?
We own the fire college site, obviously that's a 1 acre parcel.
That's the fire
Yeah,
college?
the Bolero is mental health lease, and then we own this parcel here, that's a 5 acre parcel, and then the Northington school site. So we consolidated all of this together. This is actually mental health too.
Okay. And Mayor, you said that we plan to do, what did you say were the plans?
We have Snow Hen Park Phase One.
Right.
Which did not initially include that road improvement just because of not knowing at the time when we proposed Phase One about this development that was coming forward. Assuming a DECA sign-off, since it's I know there's LCWF involvement with Snow Hen Park, we'd be ready to go to bid at Somerset sometime, and assuming they sign off, and that's always a big assumption, in May or June. And since we were putting it in this year's funding cycle, we would just use the contingency from the 2022A bond series to fund the 1.1 or 1.3 estimated construction cost. A decision for the council would be is, do you want to put the utilities underground, which was an additional
300,000, I think it's in blue.
And so that's not part of that?
No, I asked him to include costs for that, just to,
There, so.
That's in,
Check.
okay, that's in the blue, sorry, okay.
the lighting would be installed, but not the
But not the-
underground.
our goal with Phase One improvements on Snow Hen Park is to go ahead and do all of the lighting and security for the entire park, even though the Phase One improvement is primarily on the southeastern section of the park itself. But to go ahead and do all those at one time for the entire park.
If we can afford it, it really probably makes sense to put those utilities underground.
I think so.
If we can.
I agree, but I know right now every project is coming in above, and that's just where we are. But I think 10 years from now, you would wonder, why didn't we put those underground?
That's, obviously, that's my district, and since y'all won't let me have a river walk in this vicinity,
Working on that.
I think we ought to make,
Working on that, Mr.
I understand, I think we need to make
Over there
this,
by Brookhaven, there is that sidewalk.
but, you're right, I forgot, I stand corrected, which is just across from the park, but,
You got a pond.
at one time, Summer has convinced me that we need to do this right. And if, I want to see it look good for my grandchildren. And I'm for it, Mr. Chairman. I'm for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden.
What is the, Tim or some, do we know what the totality of the ask is?
Yes, it's the 1.1 million.
Plus the underground.
Plus the underground
Yes, sir,
for us?
conversion.
Now, Tim, are y'all, everything will be, if we do our part underground, y'all are gonna do the other?
Yeah, that includes the red section too. Now, there's nothing included in the green right now.
Okay.
Because we don't know how this site's gonna develop out yet.
Well, we would like that underground too, in the future. I mean, if we're gonna do this, I think y'all ought to
Whoever
do it.
develops that property, we might, again, there will be some opportunities. The other thing to keep in mind is that, and Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Department of Mental Health's lease with Aeronaut expires in 16 or 17 years.
It's not quite that long, but yeah, it's coming up quick.
This whole area over the next 2 decades is gonna be reshaped. And
Gotcha.
so having the right type of infrastructure, first class, is gonna be important as it develops out into the future, into multiple different uses and possibilities.
Hey, Walt, I mean, roughly just looking at these numbers, if you said you were gonna put utilities underground, that's, I mean, it's a little less than $1.4 million, but we could cover that. There's money to cover that?
Yes, sir. Well, because it would probably be one of the first projects up, the 22A bond issue contingency of 7 million-ish. Yeah, but the whole 22A is how much?
7.5.
7.5 million, and so it could come out of that. But I would imagine as we get through those 22A projects, it's going to, I mean,
Whittle that money away.
we're gonna whittle that down.
Yeah.
But this area is main and main, and I agree with Mr. Bell. I think we look back and regret not doing it.
Well, one other positive about this too is you're gonna put some property on the tax roll.
Yes, sir, we've
Correct,
already.
and sales tax.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna have all that going with that property.
We've already rezoned the Chick-fil-A site to business.
And so
They'll probably wind up being the #1 Chick-fil-A in the state. If they, right now, I think the one in Northport is, but this is gonna be easier to get to.
All them folks spinning donuts and stuff.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Well, I hope this helps us quit those donuts spinnings, Chief, that I get a phone call about once a week.
The other good thing about
Oh, there you are.
when you look at the data from the surveys about Snow Hill Park, one of the main themes that came from every person that responded to the survey data was safety and security. Having the Chick-fil-A is a good thing beyond the tax base. It creates traffic, and the more traffic that you have in that area, it creates visibility. Less likely you're gonna have issues within that park corridor.
Mayor, if I may suggest that it's hard to discern here, but there is a crosswalk from the park sidewalk over to the Chick-fil-A.
Oh, wow.
To get a cup of coffee and walk and.
Still keep exercising.
Well, Tim, I'm glad y'all didn't want a pedestrian crossover.
No, sir.
So, I'm not trying to cut off the question, but I am favorable to this, but I would like at least a week to then socialize it around through some of the others involved. And to, again, I'm not proposing we wait till April 18th, but maybe
2
you and
weeks.
I just want to understand in the hierarchy of things that are going to have to be done, what gets bumped or delayed with this and what does not.
Absolutely.
And we can do that.
And if you
We're
could,
not meeting,
We got 2 weeks. I was just gonna say we'll table it for 2 weeks
Could
for the
we-
next meeting.
Could we maybe approve the project and then go to finance on the 21st? And then y'all are essentially the same committee. And that way, in the meantime, we could then assuage, come back on the 20th
I don't think I have a problem with that.
But I mean,
I'm open to whatever y'all
The
wanna do.
concept of the work is, I don't think, in doubt or at issue. You know, it's the money side that I want to see.
It's the financial end of it.
So what we're talking about is approval of the project concept
But not the
with
funding
the
yet.
funding to come to finance in 2 weeks. Is that right?
yes, sir.
I'm good with that.
And if anybody has a question, I suggest you go out there and look at that road all the way to McFarland Boulevard. Something has to be done. I mean, it really has to be done.
Longer term, I think it's important to open that up to economic development. I think that's what's gonna end up happening, because honestly, part of that area just doesn't look good.
Nope.
It does not look good.
I've represented that for 25 years, and John has it one year and gets Disney World.
Well, you gotta work hard, brother. You gotta work hard.
No, it'll really be a great project when it's done. It will be great.
Okay,
All the things we have.
what I'm hearing is the committee would like to vote on this. I'm fine with that. I would entertain a motion to approve
So moved, Mr.
this
Chair.
project with the understanding that the financial end of it, how we're gonna pay for it, we're gonna deal with that in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
The prioritization of
Yes.
the funding.
University's big.
I'll second that.
I second
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
As soon as we get that
Motion
sidewalk
carried.
out by the Piggly Wiggly, we're moving that to
I'm gonna ask one question from a scheduling perspective. Draper, how quick will you be ready to bid?
Within the next, 6 weeks, we can actually bid.
So if we went ahead and advertised, we won't bid anything, but if you see an advertisement in the paper, would that be okay? We're not committing anything, but just to help compress the schedule summer.
Sure. I don't see a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with advertising, we're not awarding.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, thank
We
you.
should be good with that. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Summer. You gonna stand in hot
I
seat?
am, yes.
Okay. Item number 5 is authorization to enter into contract negotiations with CCR Architecture and Interiors for strategic planning for Linton's Barber Shop and Beauty Salon.
So we interviewed 2 architectural firms on Friday concerning the strategic planning for Linton's, what we need to do there, how we need to incorporate museum items and things like that. And we were just trying to get approval to enter into negotiations for a contract with CCR. They have a lot of experience in Birmingham, Civil Rights Trail. They have work here at Kinsey Court.
So somebody walk me back to, I kinda know Linton's Barber Shop, part of the civil rights,
Right.
sort of, not, I don't know, trail, but, and we bought it, right? We bought it a couple of years ago. And then there was storage or asbestos or something, right?
Yeah, so we cataloged and cleaned and cataloged all the items
Clean and
in
catalog.
the barber shop, and they are currently stored at the Tuscaloosa News building.
So we bought it for what, around 120 or 100?
Yeah, around that.
And then about what did we put in the cleaning and cataloging?
We're probably around 30.
30, okay, and so what does this strategic planning, tell me where we're trying to get with the strategic?
So it will include a business plan for the foundation to go out and fundraise
A business plan for which foundation?
these,
Tuscaloosa Civil
Civil Rights
Rights History
Foundation, I know it's a-
Reconciliation Foundation.
So what this is asking is to approve somebody negotiating a contract with CCR Architecture and Interiors to put together a strategic plan to serve as a roadmap for the foundation to,
It's for the site for the barber shop itself, reimagining what that site will be in the future. We've discussed before the idea of the museum, pocket park, a couple of different
you
ideas.
said, I thought you said raise money at first.
No.
well, the foundation.
The foundation will
Yeah.
attempt to raise money, but not,
We'll have some concept images and things like that for them to show their donors.
But are you basically doing a site plan? This is what we think ought to happen here. These people are gonna say,
Yes.
this is what the concept is, this is what we wanna do
essentially.
to bring to us for approval.
And
right?
they'll provide a couple of different options for us to look at and review with you guys.
And we'll be coordinating the city and the foundation on this.
I think this is a good thing. When we talk about strategic planning for the barbershop, this company will they work with kind of the timeline of the barbershop and implement those particular fillers to make it feel and look comparable to.
But part of what they'll do and what they propose to us is they'll work closely with the community to get community feedback ideas, to really reflect the history of the site.
Ideas on how to incorporate it into something people coming to Tuscaloosa or already living in Tuscaloosa visit and learn from. I'm just trying to understand kind of what the end goal is.
So it's already a trail marker.
It's a trail, it's on the trail.
Currently, so it's really building something to help entice people to stop at that site and learn more about it.
Okay, and this ask is for permission to negotiate for a contract,
Yes,
right?
the contract amount will come back.
So moved.
Second.
I just had to make a business.
You're pulling a kid.
I am, because he brought me lunch today.
Yeah, moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 6 is approval for award of construction contract to GFC for the Circle Park North Phase 2 improvements projects. The total is $3.947 million. I would like to make a motion that we table this for a few weeks.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any other discussions today? Any new business or old to be brought before this committee? If not, our next Public Projects Committee meeting will be 2 weeks from today. It will be Tuesday, March the 21st. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor